So I guess this is episode number 4 of running for office. Right now I'm making salad and pasta. There's a lot of pasta in there because Ben Schattenberg from Massachusetts has come up to volunteer on my campaign, and he's sleeping here in my living room.
Well, I got a little concerned halfway through doing my canvassing. It was very successful otherwise. I was able to pick up, I think, 12 checks. Went pretty well. I got into a pretty nice groove. But I looked in the back, and there was some concerning language.
Out of context.
Out of context, including America sucks because, and equally that is voting for the very assholes. So I don't know how good that looks to voters. Asher says that the only asshole one was just that one. So hopefully we don't have some disgruntled Democrat finding that and sending it into a local paper and causing a scandal before we even get out of the gate.
I'm personally okay with it. If it did cause a scandal in the local paper, that's more press than what I'm getting right now. So what we've been doing for the past few days is qualifying for the Maine Clean Elections Fund. And so as a Senate candidate, I have to collect 175 $5 checks from registered voters within my district. And then after that, I'll give all those to the state, to the Clean Election Fund, and then I get money to run my campaign with, which is actually more than what the $5 checks end up being, which is a pretty sweet deal. It also helps to keep corporate money out of politics. I'd like to see it be stronger. I'd like to see it be a mandatory thing.
Kind of the first thing out of your mouth, whether you're doing canvassing for votes or signatures or checks, it's just going to be dog shit. There's sort of a zen that you need to fall into just over and over again of just sort of crafting and honing in your head, kind of like a stand-up special kind of like a stand-up artist. You just kind of have to refine the language to get it right. And so this is basically what I says. Hello, my name is Ben Schattenberg. I'm working for Asher Platts. He's a candidate for state senate. Asher is a clean election candidate, which basically means that he refuses to take any money from big corporations or special interests. And the reason why that's important is because so often the people who we elect to office, we don't know if they're actually representing the voters that they're supposed to be representing, or some shadowy corporation that dumped mounds and mounds of campaign cash towards them. So I think it's really important to know that people can actually trust their representatives. And so the way to get Asher qualified as a clean elections candidate is to give $5 checks, not to him, but to the Maine Clean Election Fund. And I know that's a really tall order, but I think it's a small price to pay to know that the people who are supposedly representing you are actually representing you. And that's my pitch. Something along those lines. I tinker with the language a little bit, but something like that.
This is spring break right now. Like, shouldn't you be in Florida getting drunk? Why are you doing this?
Well, I mean, I enjoy it, but I think all Greens have to be a little bit masochistic to sort of do what they do. Really pissed off at the two-party system. I don't believe like we have even close to what our democracy should look like. Just the deluge of money into politics is just so corrupted our system. And I think that voters understand that. They might not agree on what the solution to that is, but they know that there's a real serious problem when all basically members of Congress have to hunt down corporate contributions. I think they just understand intuitively that in a lot of ways our political system is compromised, and that's why I think you see so much anger towards Congress. And we really need meaningful change right now. We need meaningful change to get single-payer health care, to make sure that no one in this country will die of preventable diseases. We need meaningful change so that we can get out of the Middle East, end our massive bloated military-industrial complex. We need meaningful change right now because we're in the middle of a huge climate crisis, which is, I think, in a lot of ways, if not threatening humanity, threatening a lot of humans. So if you want to actually, help democracy, help humanity, I think it really behooves you to work for the Green Party and work hard.
Why not work for the Democratic Party?
Well, I'd say that in a lot of respects, there are good people inside the Democratic Party, but the system itself is spoiled rotten. That's just the nature of the game. When they are beholden to special interests, you can't trust them. You can't trust even Democrats who purport to be progressive and purport to be liberal. You can't trust that they'll actually vote in the public interest. And I think if you look closely at the track record of Democrats on really key issues, they're in a lot of ways bad, if not worse, than the Republicans. And the Democrats have have a sort of strategy of sort of having a lot of blinking, red light, angry, flashing issues like abortion or gay rights, which I'm not saying that we should discount that, or that's not important, but I think Democrats lean on a few issues, get the public really riled up, angry Republicans, and screw them on the big things. I mean, if you look at the environment, military-industrial complex, healthcare, on the really big issues, they're bad, if not worse, than the Republicans. And I think it's really up to the Green Party to wake up the left and show them that how futile it is to be working for the Democratic Party.
A lot of those issues you're talking about are national level. So why are you working on these state level campaigns?
Well, I mean, on a certain level, I get why a lot of Democrats and liberals would be skeptical of the Green Party. It's because we suck. We do. I hate the Republicans, I hate the Democrats, and I'm pretty pissed off at the Greens. I mean, I like a lot of what we do. It's just, on a lot of levels, we just sort of haven't really put, to use a colloquialism, we haven't really put our big boy pants on. And so I think to do that, to actually show the public that we're capable of not just winning campaigns, but effectively legislating and creating change, we need to start on the local level. Just logistically, I think psychologically, it's really daunting for people to elect Greens on the national level. I'd really like to work up to that. But first, I think we need to build a bench of effective, intelligent, charismatic Greens on the local level. Sort of break the mentality. I think that really needs to be smashed. Break the two-party mentality that it's impossible to elect Greens. And by winning just on manageable, bite-sized local level races. And then from there, work our way up to national prominence. And that's something that I'm really committed to doing. I'm probably going to spend a lot of my life doing. When I was going to school in Baltimore, I volunteered for a local Green candidate who was running for city council. And it was a really both terrifying and sort of enlightening experience. The Green that I was working for really ran, I think, a disastrous campaign. The literature was confusing and just totally unpersuasive. There was really no effective messaging or volunteer control. It was really just an awful campaign. I remember really vividly working a polling place on election day. And I can tell you probably on that day, I got around 30 people to change their vote from Democratic to Green. And at least, like, I know at least 10 did change. They came out and told me. And it was pretty shocking that my pitch was literally just, hey, do you know who your city council person is? Oh yeah, you're in the 3rd district, Bobby Kern. He's a really bad guy, he's really corrupt, he really represents the machine politics of Baltimore. His nephew is married to the Democratic governor, and he basically took the seat over from his brother. He's a really machine, corrupt family politician, and you should vote for the other guy. He's a Green, he's a local labor professor, he's much better. That was literally as in-depth as my pitch got for 99% of the people, and yet they just were coming in with so little information. Basically, I think a lot of them were just instructed to by party bosses, or because they just thought it was election day, so I might as well vote for Democrats because that's what everybody does here. It was startlingly easy to change how they were going to vote. And so I think it's really interesting that the Portland Greens, comparatively to a lot of other Green parties in the country, have their shit together in terms of their volunteer base, their fundraising, yada yada yada. They're pretty set. They're pretty together. But ironically, I think that there's sort of a weird dynamic that as the Greens get better, the Democrats get more scared and become less, sort of cartoonishly corrupt and incompetent. So you get less sort of soft sitting duck targets that a good Green campaign could come along and knock off. It's a weird sort of seesaw dynamic. As the Greens fade out, Democrats get worse, but as the Greens start getting up, they get better. And then it's harder for them to knock off incumbents. And I don't know. I don't know.
I think for that reason alone, I think it's a good reason to vote Green.
Right. And so I think it's frustrating because you want the Greens to have victory, but I think that it's really indicative of why we need a Green Party in this country. That I think, and people don't really get. I mean, we're never going to be in a majority. That's just such a tough hill to climb that I really don't think that's going to happen. But if we can elect a Green congressman, a Green governor, maybe even ambitiously a Green senator. We've just scared the Democratic Party the way that a Republican victory at any level ever could. And if we can just wake up both the Democratic Party and Republicans say, you know what, it is possible to elect Greens. It's hard, but it's doable. And Democrats, look out! You can't act like basically Republican light anymore without there being some serious consequences. That's really hard to do. It's not going to come easy, but I think that if we can build ourselves up to that level, you know, it's not going to be perfect. There's still going to be Democrats. There's still going to be Republicans. We're never going to get complete change, but we can make the system a lot better.
New segment on the show, alternative uses for paper clips. Let's say the toe clip on your bike is fallen off and you've lost your screw. Whoops. Ta-da! It sorta works! Did you like this video? Please donate what you think it was worth in the link below. Please also be sure to click the like button. If you want to help me continue to produce videos like this one, please become a monthly sustainer over at punkpatriot.com. I make t-shirts.